I thought that was the
Not
plan.
necessarily.
Yeah, but it feels like, because I think Game tried to say that he didn't get the paperwork in the mail, so he didn't know he was supposed to go to court. Sounds a little unlikely, but
I
I
mean,
don't know.
like in order to normally with the civil cases, it has to be like signed for. It's a
Mm.
certified mail. It's not just so that's like a poor excuse that you'll easily get.
I thought that that was the plan. Necessarily, yeah. But it feels like, because I think Game tried to say that he didn't get the paperwork in the mail, so he didn't know he was supposed to go to court, sounds a little unlikely. But, I mean, like in order to normally with the civil cases, it has to be like signed for. It's a certified mail. It's not. So that's like a poor excuse that it'll easily get debunked. Jason Tur Taylor throws open the iron gates on Instagram, but today the cameras catch only silence. His $7 million Calabasas mansion, pride of VH1's She's Got Game, is getting seized, not showed off. By noon, a court order sits on the marble counter, the judge's signature still fresh, authorizing the auction of a 4-bedroom estate that once echoed with platinum parties and West Coast war stories. The Game 45. A man who bragged about outliving rivals now gets locked out of his own palace, forced to watch as lawyers descend like repo men, inventorying everything from private tennis courts to trophy cases. The judgment has finally caught up. More than $7 million owed, every square foot leveraged, and this house, the ultimate flex, reduced to a receipt for a lost decade. I wanted to talk about this. The Game has apparently lost his house as a result of his assault case. I'm going to actually read through some of the details of this, but for those who don't know, I guess I'll just read through it. The Game has officially lost his Calabasas home. And I already know that when I ask Wack about this, if I remember, that Wack's gonna basically do a whole song and dance where he says, on May 2nd, 2025, Los Angeles County Superior Court yanked the rug, ruling the property could be sold to pay Priscilla Rainey, the former contestant who accused Taylor of assault back in 2015. VH1's cameras had stopped rolling long ago, but the case kept rolling, steamrolling through Taylor's denials, blasting past his LLC shell games. For years, he insisted his main residence was protected under California's homestead rules. The court wasn't buying it. They flagged the mansion as owned by JTT Holdings, a company Game tried to wrap in legal fog with his longtime manager, WAC 100. Rainey's lawyers called it a shell, a front. The court agreed. As the headlines broke, estate agents circled, smelling a discounted trophy. At the current $4 million Zillow estimate, not even half the judgment gets covered. The gap that's now a neon sign, blinking open season on anything with the Game's name on it. Royalties, businesses, back catalogs. Money he once sprayed like confetti on Sunset, now pulled in legal escrow, watched by court clerks instead of club promoters. Yeah. Or definitely not. I think that the judgment against him, yeah, it's gigantic. Look, like Rainey has been trying to get Game to give up the home for quite some time. Back in 2024, she calculated the house should be worth $3.2 million. In another filing obtained by All Hip Hop, her attorney Janelle MD wrote that there is no current homeowner's exception or disabled veterans exemption for the dwelling. Inside the West Coast rap vine, fans saw a star in freefall but couldn't swear the numbers on social. Taylor Jared. Y'all been saying she got $7 million for 7 years, and yet here I am, laid up tipsy off my 5th quarantine watching Tiger King. He posted about enjoying retirement, fatherhood, father-daughter moments, all while court docs detailed new asset seizures. Each post about wealth only raised the question, where did the money go? How does a man who rat in millions from the documentary, classic tours, and major label deals suddenly look like a guest in his own bank account? Royalties vanished, business assets got restructured. Friends close to the label called it collapsed by 1,000 paper cuts, hinting someone on the inside might have handed Rainey's team a playbook. 3 label veterans insist management shifted assets before every hearing, moving chips around the board so fast, even the judge flagged the pattern. Nothing in Taylor's Instagram flexes can answer the simplest question: who got paid and who got played? Don't think it's really that wise. I think it's probably better to face these things head on, because it's just going to follow you for forever until the bankruptcy goes away or whatever. So rumors sprouted in the cracks. One ex-road manager claims a silent partner disappeared funds just days before the last court filing. Former associates whisper about hush money envelopes and off-book splits on streaming payouts. When news of the forced home sale finally broke, another headline crashed the timeline. The Game posting the first photo of his new son, Blah 1 Taylor, with Chanice Harrison. The image hit on December 6th, less than 72 hours after the court's order. Timing, some say, is everything. The Instagram post landed like a magician's flourish. One moment, lawyers are gutting the empire. Next, a beautiful baby boy overload distracts the feed. Was it a celebration or a PR smoke bomb? Harrison, daughter of reality star Evelyn Lozada, confirmed the news with her own post, looping in Basketball Wives fans for an audience boost. Insiders muttered that the baby reveal wasn't just personal but calculated. Flood the timeline with blue-eyed baby photos and hope the real news, losing the mansion, losing the West Coast stronghold, gets washed out by influencer emoji. I hate the way the court system works in America. I honestly do. And I've been sued before, and I've had to settle for that I didn't do. You gotta go get a lawyer, spend $10 just to be not guilty. I spent $75,000 just to settle. I'll spend millions. You know what I'm saying? I'll spend millions on lawyers. The stakes now couldn't be higher. The man who sold Truth on Records is accused of hiding assets and faking the image, dodging courtrooms while projecting the bulletproof life. Every denial, every "I'm just a dad now" line gets measured against sworn affidavits and payment records. Former friends, once in his corner, now admit they're not sure who's telling the truth, if anyone is. Rainey's attorneys circle the rest of the empire. Label, IP, music, royalties, tour revenue, the shadow over Taylor's future grows, and the question presses in. Is this the setup for the Game's next act? Some comeback, some twist? Or is this the end? The quiet demise of an era he swore would never fade. Suspicion lingers. Betrayal is the house special, and the doors to Calabasas have already closed. Inside the labyrinth of legal filings, the real blood sport played out not on the Calabasas driveway, but in corporate boardrooms and encrypted message threads. Lawyers flagged the shell company, JTT Holdings LLC, as the fulcrum for the empire's Vanishing Act. All roads led back to WAC 100, the infamously low-profile manager who'd stood beside Taylor for a decade, a platinum records and public meltdowns. Here's the plot twist. Rainey's legal team argued that JTT Holdings wasn't some arm's-length landlord, but a straw man, a ghost business engineered by WAC and Taylor together to salt the earth, stall collections, and keep the court guessing. Yet, as the pressure mounted, even Game's closest allies whispered that the company might have been a double blind, a corporate trapdoor. Suddenly, every West Coast power player had the same question. Was WAC 100 running interference or quietly stacking dominoes for a payday of his own? Point where if a house got seized, so what? I get another house, bro. Like, I'm not materialistic, and it's just a house. Like, as long as I got my life, as long as my children are happy and my mom is good, bro, I don't give a... If they seize a house or a car, and none of my cars or houses have been seized, but if it happens, I don't give them. Filings show the timing. Just hours after the May 2, 2025 ruling, court officers traced ownership back to a tangle of manager signatures, dummy accounts, and transactions routed through shell after shell. Every move was timed to mislead, drag things out, and keep the properties shielded from seizure. It worked for years until it didn't. Then came the knockout punch. Rainey's legal team produced documents suggesting JTT Holdings' sole function was to frustrate creditors. The game may have believed he was protected, but the court flagged WAC as the shadow architect. Industry veterans tell us the game WAC Alliance has always had a whiff of old-school mobster logic. Keep everything in the family, trust no outsider, and always move the bag before the heat arrives. Yet, under the heat lamp of legal scrutiny, trust became the most expensive commodity. Betrayal, as one former A&R bluntly put it, is the only thing that doesn't go out of style in this business. Well, speaking of money, the whole lawsuit situation that you got hit with, that still hasn't gotten worked out. Yeah, it probably won't ever. Yeah.
I'm broke.
You're broke?
Yeah, I don't have a dime.
Yep.
It's a borrowed shirt,
Yeah.
borrowed glasses.
All the cars are, or someone else's. Wave cap was on a dude at 7-Eleven, someone else's home. No amount of bravado could stop the unraveling. For every Instagram shot of Taylor lounging with his baby, there was a sworn deposition being filed downtown. The online persona didn't just crack, it got steamrolled by reality. Taylor's old lines, laid up tipsy off my 5th quarantine watching Tiger King, read like taunts until the property was yanked and the label accounts got subpoenaed. In court, he was anything but untouchable. The mask slipped.